We're here today with Stephen Hill. He spoke to our students today about the negative effects of drugs on teens. Now, what motivates you to talk to the students about your story?
So a big part of it was drugs and alcohol. It really started for me in that transition from middle school to high school. And I've been asked that question a lot. Is there something that could have changed you going down this path, or was there any type of influence? And for me, biggest part of it was the athletes, was the older kids, looking up to them and seeing people who were using drugs and alcohol that I just didn't think was a big deal that they were using them. And so I looked to them as role models, and I thought it was okay for me to use it. And some people end up with problems, some people don't. I was one of those people who ends up with problems. And so I wanted to share my story at school so people can hear about how it can happen and things you can do to avoid it, and to also try and just help other people understand it a little bit better.
Now, what are your future plans when it comes to your career and your journey?
So my future plans, first, is to keep on speaking. I want to keep growing this. I can only do so much right now because I'm in law school. So I speak during the days, I go to law school at night, and my goal is to become a criminal defense attorney, helping nonviolent offenders, and in some cases too, violent offenders, receive treatment instead of being sent to prison. I think that if you send someone to prison, they are only going to get worse, and most people who go to prison eventually have to come out one day. And so if we start looking at it as a public health issue instead of a legal problem, you can help people, and when they come out, they will be a better person and they won't commit those crimes again, and we can get them the treatment that they need. And so I want to be able to be in that position both on the prevention end in schools and on the end for people who are already stuck in addiction and have legal problems. I want to be the person who can defend them in court.
Now, if our students take away one thing from your story, what do you hope it'll be?
I hope students will understand that addiction can happen to anyone, whether it's, you want to call it substance abuse or addiction. When I took that first hit, when I first started getting involved in drugs and alcohol, if someone would have told me that it would lead down the path that I went down, I would have never done it in the first place. It's so hard to say who it's going to happen to or if it's going to happen, and I hope that students realize that there are much better things in life, other things that they can do instead of using drugs and alcohol, things that can really make them happy without that substance. And so I hope that students can realize that this really can happen to anyone, that there are so many other great opportunities out there, so many ways to have fun without the use of drugs and alcohol.
Thank you for speaking to us and our students today.